Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be watching us from. Welcome to the Talent Plug podcast, a space where we unravel talents from different sectors. My name is Francis Mulumba, and on this episode, we're privileged to have a very interesting guest. Our guest is a serial entrepreneur. He's a trainer, he's a motivational speaker, he's a politician, he's in logistics, and he's also a real estate expert. Our guest on the show this week, Mubita Nawa. Mubita, thank you so much for coming through and welcome to the Talent Plug podcast.
Thank you, Francis. Good to be here in your studios. Wonderful setup. It's a great, refreshing sign of bigger things that you're doing and bigger things yet to come. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So we start from here, Mubita. I know I have briefly captured the essence of what you do in terms of your professional life. Is there something that I'm missing? Is there something that is more pronounced than the other in terms of what you do?
You actually said too much. I think it was a little exaggerated. And I'm kidding. No, you said it all. In very simple terms, I'm just this guy who does not see things ordinarily as they look.
Okay.
I'm always looking at things, maybe in the words of Robert Kennedy, as they could be. And then in my mind, there's a portion of my mind that adds value to something.
Right.
No matter what it is, I see there's a component of a value addition, and perhaps also some futuristic aspect, My wife always says that I think too much. And part of the reason is that I think that everything has this inherent power, inherent treasure, inherent meaning that if transformed into another form could then have extra value, extra power, extra meaning. One of my favorite quotations is that if scrap metal has a market, then everybody has market.
Because it's basically scrap. And it's marketable.
But someone else, that's gold. So for me, I think I seek out gold in people,
Absolutely.
Gold in society, gold and treasure in experiences. And I think that's what defines me. All these other aspects or facets and nuggets of what I do ultimately are just manifestations of that underlying virtue, which, I see treasure where others may not see.
Lovely. I like that because I pretty much struggled with myself in terms of, where I was going to point at in terms of what your specialty is and where we're going to drive this conversation. So just by virtue of the fact that you mentioned that you're pretty much hands-on in every department or any department, I think makes this conversation even easier. But I'd like to start by speaking into your entrepreneurial journey. How did it begin?
My father he was a civil servant. Okay. So too was my mother. My mother was a teacher. So my parents never depended on their salaries. So that's where my journey began from.
Okay.
By watching my parents sell ice blocks, second-hand clothes, my father would buy used vehicles from auction sales, would stay with that vehicle 3, 4, 5 months. He would transform it, then market it, and add value, buy another one, keep one, sell the other, have a farm, build a house. So it was from that point of view that I think I was exposed to my own Elon Musk in my life, a person who didn't just want, or a couple that just didn't want to sit and fold their arms. So fast forward that into 6 years. I'm now 6 years old. My friends want sugarcane in the compound, and I'm like, okay, where they buy sugarcane, it's far. Why don't I go order the sugarcane, cut it into pieces, and sell it to my friends? I'm 6 years old. And my father had given me some money from pocket allowance that I had kept. And that was my first business, capital. I ordered the dimba msali, cut it into pieces, sold it to my friends. And truly, that was my first encounter with my own ordering and selling and net profit.
Right.
And then later on, I was 18, I opened up a shop, and that's how my journey started.
Mm.
But ultimately, that same 6-year-old, that same 18-year-old is still in me to this day.
Right.
Everywhere I go, I look at things, I look at shops, I look at bare ground. As I was driving here, I saw a plot somewhere. I was like, what could be done on that? It's not even mine, but I'm already imagining what could be done with that plot. What is the trends? What's happening in this area? So that's how my mind is always constantly thinking.
Right.
Like I said, I see inherent value in something, not just in what it is, but what it could be. And I see myself as a catalyst to the change that I seek in the world. So what that does to me is it constantly keeps me on the up end of my life.
Right.
You know, I'm rarely down, like down, beat up. I'm often on the other side, like, okay, what do I do next? Where do I, okay, I've got a challenge here. How do I solve it? Who do I call? Who do I not call? And things like that. So I think fundamentally that is what entrepreneurship is. It's a journey, a metamorphosis of one's own conversation with transforming anything, including your podcast. It's a wonderful opportunity to transform the conversation of knowledge within our community and beyond, and to grow that. I'm so honored to just be a part of that transformation.
Thank you. I'd like to speak into one aspect of a perception that people have regarding venturing in multiple opportunities. There is actually a saying about, being a jack of all trades and failing to master one specific aspect of whatever you're doing. I've heard you talk about multiple business avenues that you've ventured into. Haven't you gotten to a point where you feel, look, I'm not a specialist in this area. Why am I venturing in such a space? Do you restrict yourself to areas of knowledge, areas where you think, okay, this is, because from what I'm hearing, if there's an opportunity for you, you're going to jump right into it.
Great question, Francis. So, for example, I'm into real estate. I build houses for myself and for other people. Those of my own, I rent them out. I haven't sold the house yet that I've built because part of real estate in my own mind is keeping it and realizing the value in future.
Yes.
Now, if I could get an offer, maybe I could sell, but I find that very hard to do. So I recently got an offer to construct a certain building for a particular gentleman. And the money was very, very good. But I've never built that type of building before, but the money was so good. I could even have hired 10 specialists to build.
Right.
But then I say to myself, maybe I should build that kind of building for myself first. It was a very specialized high-rise building with huge 6 figures in dollars. And I say to myself, no, I think I should build one for myself so that I actualize the lessons.
Yes.
Then I can take on a multi-million-dollar contract to build for someone. So therein lies the limit within myself, conscientiously, and of course, with respect to karma, to say, look, I am a real estate developer. But this particular building that this client is asking me to do, I have never done it before, and I have no expertise in it.
Right.
Therefore, I'll turn this contract down, not because I don't need the money, but because I have a name to protect. And also I have an honest business to run. So as much as I'm a serial entrepreneur, I do have limits. If someone was to tell me we want to transport nuclear refuse from some nuclear plant from one area to another, we are going to give you $100 million. I will not do it because I'm not even a chemist. I don't even know how they package nuclear waste and how they dispose of it. I don't want to take nuclear waste and turn by somewhere in Kalomo, dig a ditch, dump it there, and then 10 years later be sued for environmental pollution. That's not how entrepreneurship should be. Entrepreneurship must have a conscience to say, look, as much as I want the money, I'm not able to do this. One, I don't have the capacity, or even if I do have the capacity, I don't have the ethical wherewithal to execute this job accurately and to the professional standard that I can. Now, having said that, the areas where I can still dominate and subcontract, for example, we're in logistics, my trucks go up to 30 tons. Now, if someone comes to me and says, I need 30-ton trucks. Even though I may have one or two of my own, I will be like, Francis, bro, hook me up with your 30-ton truck.
Yes.
Here's your cut. You follow me. Let's go.
Right.
I will get me some 1,000 30-ton trucks because that's my area of expertise. I'm simply borrowing an extra bucket at a fee. But otherwise, I know logistics inside out, and I can move just about anything except nuclear waste.
I like that. You know, there's this specific notion that floats around, specifically around entrepreneurship, where an individual will say, look, if you're an entrepreneur and someone comes to you and says they need a specific service, it does not matter whether you're an expert in that area, you have to get it done. And that kind of contradicts what you've said in terms of, yes, you can be a specialist in one area, but you should also appreciate the limitations that you have. If you're not able to deliver in a specific area or specific field, just say it out. Just call it out. Say, look, I do not have the capacity. I will not do this. What then do you have to say about those entrepreneurs who would then say, look, if you are really an entrepreneur, if an opportunity comes your way, yes, you might not be able to deliver, but you need to find a way. I'm told Nigerians are very notorious for that.
Well, I think it also goes with personality, style, and peace of mind and integrity issues. I think there's a limit to everything and anything. At the end of the day, there's a great book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. And in the book, Jim Collins analyzes several companies over a 5-year period as to why some companies are greater than others. And one of the fundamental findings was that the companies that delivered well were better team players. They were honest and clear about their objectives. And they utilized their resources very well. And above all, they knew how to respect and reward human beings. So if you look at Jim Collins' fundamental aspects of being great, you'll find that there's an ethical component to it. Look at this beautiful studio that you have. I don't think I can set this up. I don't even know what type of light that is, I might just say I want a light. But your engineer will know how many fuses are in there, how many milliwatt. So I would rather maybe let the engineer handle those technical aspects, but I cannot do what is the quality of this. And I honestly don't have the passion. So entrepreneurship must be driven by passion. You must do something that keeps you up at night. In fact, you must do it so well that even if they don't pay you, you'll be so glad you did it. But when you do things for money's sake only, you'll be so depressed very quickly. Because within entrepreneurship, there are losses, there are regrets, there are poor investments. Now, if you did it only for the money, you end up committing suicide.
Absolutely.
But if you did it for the passion, you will do it so well that even your business will grow naturally. Now, I don't want to judge people who can still buy a light and deliver it. But look, let's look at, for example, governance in general. Why do we have poor roads sometimes?
Right.
It's because somebody decided to build a road that they've never even dug a drainage.
Absolutely.
Why do we have drainages that are blocked? Because somebody awarded somebody a contract to someone who never had not even experienced.
Right.
I believe let the best person build the best roads. Let the best gynecologist handle gyne issues. Let the best dentist handle teeth. Let the best psychologist handle mental issues. If we did that together as a society, we'll be first world, first class generation. Unlike the mediocrity we see across sectors, it's because people are doing things for money and not for excellence. And for me, I don't subscribe to that level of entrepreneurship because otherwise we might as well start doing fireworks in kindergarten.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, so our conversation is pretty much broken down into different facets, based obviously off your passions and what you enjoy doing. I do realize that logistics is an area where you're very, very passionate about. You have quite a number of vehicles of different sizes, and I'm just trying to find out how you got this passion or interest to get into logistics, and how's that business going?
So again, my background has a lot to do with what I'm doing now. My father drove Land Rovers. would they would be hired to go and order charcoal in Chongwe, bring to Mtendere, bring to Chainda. So little by little, I was like, okay, this is good. You could be seated with your father. Somebody comes, oh, you just want pilani.
Yes.
My father will be coming back dancing and jiving like he's made some money. I was like, okay. So one day I got a call from the team of former Nigerian president who was coming to Zambia, and they needed a luxury vehicle.
Okay.
So they called me. They said, look, we know you have this vehicle. We'd like to hire it for the former president of Nigeria. They'll be here for a week and a half. I was like, okay, how much? They gave me the figure. I said, okay, come get it.
Yes.
And they took the car. I drove one of my little cars. And from there, I was like, so I can have a car, rent it out, make money, maybe buy another car. And basically, that's what I do. So got a small little truck, got another truck, and it's very addictive. But I'll tell you why I'm into logistics.
Okay.
It's not about the money. I love giving clients a clean car, well serviced, nice tires. What? That feeling of giving you a car, you hire my car, and I know it will take you anywhere. Oh, I love that. 2, when I load a customer, let's say a customer is shifting, and I pack their furniture in a nice way, and the customer calls me back and says, all our goods arrived safely, nothing was scratched. When I park with my staff, they get so irritated because they're like, move, put a mattress there,
right.
the mirror open.
You want perfection.
No. They get so frustrated. Oh, please, but boss, I don't care how they feel about it. I care that the customer should be proud. Look at this wonderful furniture here in your studio. When you load this, you want it to arrive safe.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm into logistics. To put a smile on clients that their pampers arrived, their envelope has arrived, their bed has arrived. That's it.
It's about the experience.
That's it.
I love that.
That's what I do. I just want people to move with a peace of mind. So whether I'm moving 35 tons of salt from Suwa in Botswana to Congo, I want to make sure every sack arrives, the 600 bags or 800 bags, whichever.
Amazing. And what has been, some of the challenges that you've encountered in this space? I know there are quite a number of people who are either looking to venture in this space or are already in this space and they're failing. They're like, how does Mubita do it? He makes it look so easy and effortless. I know there are specific challenges.
It's not that easy, Francis. It's not. I would be lying if I said it was. So one of the challenges is expenditure. So for example, on a 30-ton truck, a brand new tire is 6,500, 8,000. And you need about 16 wheels on one vehicle.
Yes.
So when you look at costs and profit margins, they are quite low. The other challenge is theft. You could be moving. One time we were going to Luapula, and just between Kitwe and Mufliwa, thieves jumped on our vehicle, stole customer goods, windshield, and so theft is a big issue. And one last issue perhaps is just finding the right caliber of employees with that mindset of service delivery,
absolutely,
professional attitudes, and care for customer goods. But other than that, the benefits are quite big. One of my secrets, and this is one thing most people don't know, a lot of people would rather park their truck and watch it and send you off because your money is too low. But for me, I have the other concept. If a trip is supposed to make me 10,000 kwacha profit, and you are ready to go now, and my profit will be 4,000 to 5,000, I'm going.
Nice.
I'm going. Because if I go for 3 days and I come back with 4,000 kwacha at home, it's definitely more than sitting for 3 days and wish I had made it 10,000.
I love that.
Now, on my way back from that trip, I might get someone who will give me 2,000 or 3,000. Now my profit is at 7,000. So meaning I'm already 3,000 short compared to 6,000 short earlier. But most of all, even if I don't get anyone on my way back, by making a profit of 4,000 with you, you will send another customer who will give me a profit of 24,000.
Absolutely.
So you're now my billboard that paid me 4,000 for advertising.
I love that. Okay, so away from logistics, I do realize that the other passion of yours you have is real estate. I think one of the interactions I had with you a couple of months ago, I think, was in relation to a piece of land that I wanted to get, and I think you were pretty much speaking into the land itself and how I would actually access it. Where did this passion come from, real estate?
Um, about 30 years ago, I came across a piece of land. Actually, 35 years ago. And I bought it. I was young, handsome, not this version. I was very handsome. And I bought that land innocently. And then I kept it. Then I ran into somebody who told me it was a bad idea to keep that land. By then, I'd already built a wall fence. And then I sold that land. Francis, I can tell you right now, where that land is, I don't go there. To this day, I'm still heartbroken over that land. And I realize that many times we miss opportunities to store money in land. At that time, that land was 3,000 kwacha, 35 years ago.
Wow.
Today, that land, sure.
Can't afford it.
I can't even afford it. I cannot. So that is part of what drives me. And also, I've wasted money on so many things. Clothes, shoes, this, that, nice that. And I've realized and I've concluded real value must have a land component to it. Have the nice shoes, have the nice cars, have the nice whistles and bells, but ensure you have some fixed asset called land or house. It's very, very important.
I've heard you preaching this for quite a bit of time now, your publications where, you're literally encouraging people. It's not about where the land is. It's not how far it is from the amenities that you are accustomed to seeing. Think ahead. Think about the piece of land that you're looking to acquire and how it's going to, accumulate in terms of value over time. Do you think that Zambians are slowly buying into this ideal? Because, I still hear a lot of individuals say, if I can't get a plot in Highbakes, I can't get a plot in Salama Park, then why should I get a plot that is so far away?
First of all, let me give Zambians credit. Zambians are very good builders, generally speaking. The only problem with that statement I said is that it tends to refer to those on the poor side. Some of the best builders are actually the ones with little money.
Right.
And some of the worst builders are actually the educated ones up here who make very good money. Yes. You just go to your office and put your gardeners, your maids, and all those in the lower, your drivers, put them this side, and then put your marketing officers, your accountants this side. Then count how many of these have houses or plots versus it. You find that the higher percentage of people with plots and houses are on the poorer, lesser educated side. They seem to appreciate, and then the educated ones are renting from the non-educated one. Look, that's a story for another day.
Right.
So 13 years ago, I'm offered a plot in New Kasama, somewhere near where the president stays today, 125,000 kwacha. I turned it down. I said it was far. 13 years ago.
Wow.
Yesterday, I was driving in that area. Tears were dropping down my eyes. I can't afford that plot today. I can't. Wow. And it's all well built now. It was a bush 13 years ago. So we must always remember that time flies. Silver Rest was a bush 10 years ago. Chalala was a bush 20 years ago.
Right.
So it's the same formula all the time. And now if I tell you, Francis, I've got a piece of land somewhere, it's 10,000. You are going to look down on that land because one is 10,000. Two, you have something else to do with your 10,000. And half the time, what you have to do with your 10,000 today may not benefit you 13 years from now. So I think it should be a balance. It's a personal decision. Let's learn from other people's mistakes. I don't have to make all your mistakes and vice versa. But I think let's wake up more. We could do more in the area of land. There are a lot of people that I know today who are richer than me. But in terms of land and assets, they are poorer.
Absolutely. I love that. Mubita, there are a lot of real estate agents in the country right now. There are a lot of companies that have just sprang and they have all these deals coming through. How do you identify a lucrative real estate opportunity?
Perhaps not only a lucrative, but also an authentic real estate
Absolutely.
opportunity, because some of them glitter, but they are not gold. They are plain yellow. But there are some very good organizations that are out there. I always say to people, buy land or deal in real estate with people you can take to court. If you don't know where he stays, where she stays, what they do, if they're not traceable, be careful. So with land, deal with people that you can take to court should the deal fail. Because there are times deals fail, not even because it's your fault or my fault, because of somebody else's fault or a conflict of interest.
Yes.
So how do you identify lucrative deals? Number one, they should not have abnormal profit. Anytime a deal sounds too good to be true, it's probably not. So let's just be content. Look, 20-30% for me, profit margin, maximum 40-50% is still a good deal.
Right.
But if you're trying to do 100, 1,000% profit on a deal, it may not work out. So be practical, be realistic, and deal with established individuals or organizations that you can take to court should things not work out.
Great. I love that. So I've been following your journey, particularly in real estate. Obviously, you have quite a number of platforms where you share, these experiences of yours, what you're doing, how you've been able to build different types of structures. I love how you
except the multi-million dollars. I could have been rich.
Right. What advice would you have for somebody who is just venturing in this space? They're like, look, this is an area where I've seen that I can apply myself. I've seen Mubita Nawa doing it, and he's succeeding at doing it. I want to be like him. What kind of advice would you give them?
Great question. So yesterday I was going through my phone log, my picture log rather, and I came across a picture from 9 years ago. And there's this complex I own somewhere. It's my favorite. Complex. Of all my properties, it's my favorite. And that picture represented the very first property on that complex, the foundation. And it made me tear, actually, because it reminded me of how we started, how little we knew then, and compared to where we are now. So I think that's where the secret is.
Yes.
Starting small. And I know a lot of people don't like this. People come to my inbox, Francis, Mubita, I've got 3 million kwacha. I want to go into real estate. I want to build 25 apartments. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
If you've got 3 million, put away 2.5, 2.8. Take the 300, go into the compound, buy a finished place, lot, 20 by 30, 20 by 15, demolish what is there, build these nice mudadadas, 15 of them, 10 of them, rent them out for 500, 600. So if you've got 15 at 500, that's already 7,500 from that lot.
Why do you believe in this concept so much?
It's easy to manage.
Okay.
Rent is guaranteed forever because in those, population of Zambia has increased and the demand for low cost housing is high. That's the entry point.
Yes.
So in fact, those houses, people don't even give notice when they are going, but even as they are going, another one is outside coming in.
Right.
I literally have several of those right now. Even yesterday, I was being paid rent we are commissioning 3. One, I'm keeping it for private purposes, but 2, and people were fighting to pay me for the other 2. Mine are slightly better value than the ones I'm describing, because mine, they're fetching 2.5, 3.5,
right?
But they are 1 room, self-contained, very nice, tiled, airy, very modern.
And I think that's what I like the most. Yeah. It's the excellence that you attach
Absolutely.
to. Because, it's one thing for someone to say, look, I'm going to build a 1-room apartment, and just because it's a 1-room apartment doesn't mean that you shouldn't attach the kind of importance as you would building a 5-6 bedroom home.
You have to. And that's where you start from. Now, we've got 3 million, and I just asked you to spend only 300. Why would I do that? Because you don't need to risk all your money.
Right.
You can take 2 million, take it into bonds or something. Then this 7.5 a month, that's 75,000 every 10 months. Meaning within 3 years, that thing would have paid for itself back and the value would have appreciated.
Right.
When you gain that experience, now you look for another property, then you start again. Then you duplicate. Now, if you put your whole 3 million into something you have never done, remember the ethical component we talked about earlier? Yes. There is a limit to everything. And real estate can be stressful. So you need to learn, grow into it, gain experience, and then blow up.
Lovely. I love that. So I'm now going to marry the two because we partially talked about logistics, we talked about the real estate aspect. Getting back to the entrepreneur aspect again, I'd like to find out how you actually balance multiple ventures across different industries.
Do I look balanced?
Absolutely. I mean, you've spoken so well about logistics and now real estate. It's like you've got it all figured out.
I'll give you a very good secret for free. I'm not that smart, but I have smart people around me.
Right.
So what I do with almost every business I run is I start it myself. Whether it's a school, I become the driver, the chef, the teacher. I start a school so that I learn. Then I hire a driver.
Right.
Then I tell him the route based on where I have driven.
Yes.
Then I hire a chef. I tell him how to cook based on how I cooked.
Yes.
Then I hire a teacher who I tell how to set up based on what I did. And then I walk away, but with one leg still in that business. So I've created reporting deadlines, reporting methodologies, and I'm in touch with that person every single day, literally. So that's how I run my many businesses. So whether it's my preschool, my primary school, my lodge, my transport, my apartments, they have managers. So rentals are not paid to me. I can't manage. There's one property I've got 43 or 44 tenants. I don't even know their names.
Right.
I don't. And I would be so stressed if all of them are calling me, my bulb, my water.
Yes.
But there's a manager there to watch over the property. And that manager is my liaison. That's the person who collects rentals. If there's a problem, they report to me, but the tenants report directly to the manager. Right. And even the new tenants, they see that same person. So I was telling you about the three we were launching. One person called me. I said, no, I will confuse you. Here's a number for the manager. You talk to him. Right. I might collect rent from 4 people and I forget. Yes. And that's not right. So that's how I manage. So even with transport, it's the same thing. But I will tell you one other thing. And this shocks all my workers. I have this memory that remembers how many drums we have, how many shovels we have, how many picks we have, where the roofing sheets that are red were put. Yes. And so sometimes when they want to do MacGyver, they think I've forgotten. And I'll be like, I'm asking for that tent that I gave you 3 years ago. And they'll be like, oh,
I thought you forgot about that.
I don't.
Right.
So that helps me a lot. Like even the vehicles, there are some vehicles of mine, I haven't seen them for 2 years.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
I haven't seen them for 2 years.
Amazing.
But I know where it is right now.
Yes.
Because I've got a tracker on my phone. I know when the road tax is due.
You're that hands-on.
I'm so hands-on. You've seen what I'm driving today.
Absolutely.
That's not my vehicle. That belongs to a driver. But I asked him to bring it home yesterday because I'm going to the farm to deliver food for my animals. Yes. And I know how many animals I have, which baby was born when. I think I'm not very normal, but I like it. I don't know. It's just a gift. I know what's in Chifwema, what's in Kitwe, what's in Mongo, what's in Livingstone. I know what's in Chipata. I know how many drums are in Kalulushi.
I love that.
It's wild.
Okay. So, one of the aspects that we pretty much dive in on this specific podcast is we want our viewers and our listeners to get an appreciation of what it takes for an individual to have these specific skills. What kind of training do they need to have? So maybe a part that we missed in our introduction was pretty much just speaking to your upbringing in terms of the specific training that you've had to, undertake over the years to develop the skills that you have.
Wow. I think we need 4 days to discuss my training. Some of my trainings were from the house, my father and mother.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were from outside the house. Some of them were from life. So we constantly get bombarded by experiences.
Yes.
And if I could share 5 skills that I think have been very helpful to me, the first one, we mentioned it, the ability to say the truth from the beginning on what your capabilities are and what you can and cannot do.
Right.
And to be able to turn down money even when you desperately need it. That's very important. Number 2, deliverables, time keeping. I ran a little late today when I was coming, and I was so apologetic. It's technically it was 16 minutes.
Right.
But to me, that's a lot. 16 minutes waiting. And I apologize to you why I was late. And you were so understanding, Francis. But even now, I feel bad that I was 16 minutes late.
I love that. That's being a perfectionist. 16
minutes is a lot of time. A flight will move from here to Kapiri on a jet in 16 minutes, or Kawe, maybe.
Yes.
That's a lot of time. So timekeeping is very important. I'm constantly conscious of time. I tell people all the time that we have a watch in our stomachs. It tells us what time it is. It tells us, by yawning, it's telling us it's time for the next activity. So timekeeping is important, so that even when you're delivering things, ensure that I do master of ceremonies, by the way. Those are hobbies.
Yes.
I make money by playing. But I'm always the first one at every wedding. Always. Even when I know they'll be late. Sometimes I've waited 2 hours.
Right.
But I go early because I'm getting paid. And it's who I am.
Absolutely.
So timekeeping is very important in business. The third aspect is doing things well. There's a property I'm doing at the farm where I'm going now.
Okay.
I wish I could show you the pictures. It's beautiful. It's a small little 1.5 bedroom thing, but it is beautiful. So doing things well, whatever you're doing, even if you're cooking in a one pot, cook well. Whatever you do, do it well. Right. Do it as if it was the only thing you were born to do. So that's very important. The fourth thing is train people to do things better than you. Now, that's tricky because sometimes in training people, they run away with your ideas. They run away, they steal. I've gone through all of that. Now, somebody once said, if they don't run away, what happens? Then you'll be stuck with poor-minded people. Absolutely. So you have to invest in them. So one of the reasons why God has blessed us so much is we've got amazing people around us. And lastly, stick to those things that are easy for you to do, that are fun, that are passionate, and stay away from anything that stresses you, breaks your heart. Life is already hard, so ensure that whatever you do motivates you and gives you the oomph to go on the next day.
Lovely. So Mubita, with all the ventures that you have, all the experiences that you've been through, I'm very, very sure that you've had quite a number of failures. I'd like to find out from you what your biggest failure has been as an entrepreneur and what you learned from that.
Is there a pastor here? A priest? I might need some counseling. That brought hot flashes right there. Oh, Jesus.
Right.
No, Francis. Don't go there.
Yeah.
2013, I was running a business called Cash Cards Network.
Okay.
We were lending out cars to people.
Okay.
You know, I got the concept from, I used to go to buy my own cars, and I went and bought this car and I struggled.
Right.
And I was like, I'm sure there are others who are struggling. So we began to give loans to cars.
Yes.
In fact, one of the people who's very successful in this business today in Osaka, if you ask him, he even tells me that, Mubita, this is your business. He got that idea from me because I was dealing with him that time. Thank God he's doing well. I'm proud of him.
Right.
But we had ordered 44 vehicles, and I gave 2 gentlemen $250,000 cash.
Okay.
Because I couldn't go clear those vehicles. I had an engagement somewhere. And I've never seen those guys to this day.
Wow.
$250,000 US. And I had 44 vehicles in Dar es Salaam to be cleared to Zambia. 44. 4 of those were my personal vehicles for my businesses. 3 for my relatives, the rest for clients.
Wow.
That I'll never forget. That thing brought hell on my life. Because the owners of those vehicles, as far as they were concerned, I had swindled them.
Absolutely.
And yet I was also a victim of other people. And that cost me a lot. Paying that money
How did
back.
you recover from that?
I don't know. I don't even know if I've recovered. I think I'm still going through. But
Right.
no, here's the thing. I had to get rid of everything I could to pay people off.
Right.
I remember one time my own very close person came to pinda me because they had a car on that 44. And their balance was 20,000 kwacha. And I had this little Mercedes Benz, one of the last I was holding on to, that I was trying to sell for 33,000. And this person says, no, I'm getting this Benz today.
Right.
I said, let me just sell it for 33.
Right.
I give you your 20. I remain with 13. I solve the next person.
Yes.
They got it.
Wow.
They got it.
Wow.
Francis, that was hell. But at the same time, that was one of the best trainings I've ever been through. And when I finished paying everybody, after about 3 years, I say to myself, you're a great guy. Not only did you lose 250,000, but in 3 years, you've paid it back.
Right.
Huh. You are one big son of a goddamn man.
Yes.
And then I say to myself, okay, let's go make the next 250.
Absolutely.
And that's what I've been doing. I learned my lessons. It was painful. I can still feel tears right now because I went through hell.
Right.
With that. And you never know how angry people are until you touch
right.
their money.
Their money, that's true.
But it was a bad experience and a good experience at the same time. And here we are today. And that's one thing we should always remember. It will pass.
Right.
No matter what you're going through, kakabalika.
No matter how impossible things seem to be in that
it
moment.
Will pass.
Right. Mubita, I've got this question around what I've observed about you. And some of these business ventures that you get into, some of them are seemingly silly. And I'm going to use this word silly very loosely, because from a lay person, they would literally be asking themselves, look, he's a prominent figure and he's somebody very well established. Why is he driving that truck? Why is he investing in a business that, you have to literally pay him 45 kwacha? And I mean, he's way above that. He should be doing better things. But you seem to be doing these things and doing them very, very consistently. And you seem to have a smile on your face while you're doing it.
I love it. Somebody paid me 20 kwacha yesterday. I was dancing. 20 kwacha. That's when I knew I wasn't normal. And sometimes I could have thousands in my account or in my earphone, but 20 kwacha makes a difference. And I say to myself, the Zambezi River has never, ever told its source, I have enough water.
Right.
Don't give me any more water. Kabompo, please.
I love that.
No. The Zambezi has to receive water from its source on a daily basis so that the Zambezi can grow. The Zambezi can also feed its own multiple users and things like that.
Yes.
That's number one. But number two, in Chipata they say, meaning the thing that makes a pig fat is not known. A pig eats here, eats there.
Right.
And so for me, I think that same background of selling ice blocks, I make a 20 kwacha every hour. After 5 hours, I have 100 kwacha. After 30 days, I have 3,000 kwacha from my 20 kwacha. So one of our smallest businesses is advertising on our page. People pay us 120 kwacha to advertise.
Wow. And
they make big deals, big deals from 120. Now, somebody will laugh at me. They do laugh at me. They actually do laugh at me. Now, if I do 10 adverts in one day, that's 1,200. So in 10 days, that's 12,000 kwacha. In 30 days, that's 36,000 kwacha from one.
You've already done the math.
Hello.
I was laughing with Mutumbi, our video director, as we were waiting for you, because I literally just asked him, "Do you know who Mubita Nawa is?" The gentleman doesn't know who you are until today.
Yeah.
So I said, "Let me educate you about this man and what he does." So we went into the nitty-gritties of some of the businesses that you're doing and how you do it so well. And I'm glad that he's the one who started doing the math.
Yeah.
Because when I was telling him about the adverts, he was like, "Wait, so you're saying if so much or so many people advertise on his page, he'll get this much?"
Yes.
Like, that's what he's doing.
Yes.
And that's not even a fraction of, some of the business ventures that he has.
And so what that means, therefore, is if I can make, I call it 120 kwacha per day, and at home I need tomatoes and onions worth 120 kwacha per day, it means, therefore, that I don't need to touch my salary to buy tomatoes and onions. That's what extra income means. It liberates your money to do other things. So people may laugh and say your business is only making you 30 kwacha per day. But if that's the cost of a loaf of bread, it means, and you're eating one loaf of bread per day, it means your family is catered for.
Yes, absolutely.
From that business, you don't have to worry about bread anymore because you've got that business. Then you establish another business that caters for cooking oil. Another business that caters for laundry and transport. Before you know it, your salary is intact, or your other business is intact, because these other businesses are facilitating this. So your quality of life improves. Now, I want to answer one other question that you asked. We didn't touch it very well, which is, at what extent do these businesses become too much? I think the normal number of businesses that I can personally handle is between 5 and 7.
Okay.
If I cross that number, I become a bit inefficient, because even if I've got 7 managers, if they become 8, they start to irritate me. Because they all want something at the same time.
Okay.
But if I keep them at 7, I'm okay. I'm within my margin of error.
Yes.
So each one must know their limit.
Okay.
So you should know your limit. If your limit is 2, then keep it at 2. So when do you know your limit? The point at which you become inefficient. There is a construction saying which goes, if it takes 1 week for 7 people to build a house, 1 week for 7 people to build a house, how long will it take for 14 people to build the same house? Some people say it will be half the time, because now there are more people.
The number is multiplied.
But us, from experience, we say it will take 3 weeks. Because now we've got too many cooks and chefs.
Too many minds, yes. This one is going to come with this opinion.
And actually, the others will become lazy. They'll be riding on. So know your point of inefficiency. Where it starts from, that's where you stop.
I love that. Amazing. Amazing. I'd like for you to answer this question, Mubita. How do you define success?
Oh, that's wonderful. Success is the achievement of realistic goals.
Okay.
Success is a realization of the goals that you set. And they've come to pass within a realistic time frame, realistic utilization of resources. Then you're successful. Let me break it down. If I'm a teacher at a secondary school and I earn a certain amount, and I qualify for a fan cargo car, and I can buy a fan cargo vehicle within 6 months, and I actually buy it in 6 months without a loan, from extra tuition, without corruption, without any violation of personal or community ethics, then I'm successful. Now, community might laugh at me to say, how can the head teacher be driving a fan cargo? So according to the community, I'm not successful because to them, I'm not supposed to be driving a fan cargo. But according to me, the realistic goals I set based on my salary, based on the burden I carry of my children and my social and community responsibilities, I'm very successful. Now, Another teacher somewhere may have a big buyer somewhere, a big dude somewhere, a big daddy somewhere, or a big mama somewhere,
Yes.
and buys that person a luxurious car, whatever it may be, a Bentley or whatever. That person is not successful because the way they've acquired their vehicle is not ethical. And it is against norms and values and the tenets of entrepreneurship. Because entrepreneurship is about honest work.
Yes.
So we should be careful how we judge people. Some of the people we deem successful may not actually be successful. And those we deem as failures may be more successful than ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I meant to ask this question, and I'm happy that I've remembered it. I was telling Mutumbi just before you came about some of your earlier ventures, and I said to myself, this man even went an extra mile and decided to have this line for himself, a line of perfumes and these cosmetics. I was like, I just wonder what was going through his mind when he ventured in that business. Can you just tell us a bit about that?
That was 2016.
Right.
2016, we launched a Mubita Nawa perfume. And a funny thing happened. My designer sent me this image.
Right.
With my picture on it, innocently, innocuously. And I was so excited, I posted it online.
Yes.
I said, look at what we are working on. Oh, Lord Jesus. I was cooked.
Wow, Zambians being Zambians.
I was cooked. Yeah, Papa, it's giving Papa vibes. And I was in South Africa at that time.
Yes.
And we were pushing the same brand. And we quickly corrected it, came across a new designer. Within 24, 48 hours, we corrected that, issued a public statement.
Nice.
And the perfume was excellent. Then COVID came, certain factories closed, we couldn't continue. And one day we shall resuscitate the Mubita Nawa brand. The perfumes were good.
Right.
The roll-ons were good. To this day, we get calls from people wanting that. But at the same time, I also ventured a lot into real estate.
Right.
And real estate as a way of making you checkmate yourself. You say to yourself, should I put 100,000 in perfumes? Or should I put 100,000 in a property that will give me stable and steady income without any? So we said, okay, let's finish up. Let's stabilize our income, our cash flow.
Right.
We'll go back to the brand. But I'm so glad I did that. And we'll go back to that.
Lovely.
We have the name, we have the experience, we have the capacity.
Absolutely.
And we have the client base.
Right. Great. If you could go back and give your younger self advice, what would it be?
I feel young already.
You are young.
Young at heart. The gray is coming out.
Right.
I wish I knew certain things about people. I would have been a better judge of people. I think I've not been quite as good at reading people. And so in the end, you end up trusting the wrong people. So I would tell my younger person, be patient in making judgments about people. Don't be in a hurry to call them bad.
Yes.
And don't be in a hurry to call them good. Have a courtship with people.
Okay.
A time to understand them before you categorize them. And lastly, I think I would say I would have been much more adventurous. If I knew, and I'm not at all, Francis, as assuming grandiose or claiming to be Martha Stewart or Albert Einstein or Oprah Winfrey, or I'm not anywhere near those people. But if I knew I was going to be this great, I would have paid attention.
I love that.
I would have sat a bit in front in class.
Yes.
I would have minimized being on the noisemakers list.
Right.
Somehow we tantarikad our way to here. We didn't know. And the ironic part is, even now, I somehow don't fully know where I'm going tomorrow. But at least now, I am a firm believer in who I'm becoming.
Right.
And I'm preparing better for that.
Amazing.
Unlike what I did 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Amazing. I love that. And I also want to find out, what motivates you to keep pushing boundaries in your career? Because I mean, you just seem to come up with all these innovations, and just when I think, okay, this is Mubita Nawa's limit, let's see where he goes now, then you come up with another innovation. What keeps you pushing these boundaries?
It's like what we're doing now in Western Province.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing some amazing work there. Some of it is social responsibility, some of it is community work, empowering over 120 women, empowering over 300 young people with loans, empowerment, business programs, platforms, community development, trying to build community schools, different things. So that is part of me giving back, but part of me exposing myself to the better side of who I am. What keeps me doing this? I think a lot. I can drive from here to Mongo, no music.
Oh, wow.
Or I can drive from here to Siavonga playing one song. I'm that extreme. I think a lot. And it's always about what could it be? And why is it not that? And if it's what it is, why did they settle for that? Was there any other way to save money? So that's how I process. So it's that conversation that pushes me constantly innovating, whether it's a perfume, whether it's logistics, whether it's schools, whether it's hospitality. And I don't know, that's it. Every day for me is a beautiful day. I come to a place like this, I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. I get inspired, and I'll take inspiration from here, take it to somewhere else.
Yes.
Maybe in a farm, change how my pigs are living, or my cattle, or my children, or my... So that's it. I don't know. I just feel basically, fundamentally, I'm not half the man I'm supposed to be. I'm not. So I'm looking for the other half.
I love that. Mubita, I know you just didn't become greater by yourself. I'd like to find out who your biggest inspiration or mentor has been.
It's certainly my father and mother. I've said that. But there was a man called Douglas Rose. Okay. Douglas Rose is a lawyer now. He was my supervisor. I think I was 22, 23.
Okay.
Yeah, 22, 23. And he had just returned from Italy from doing studies, and he became my supervisor. I was a banker at that time. And Douglas changed my life.
Right.
My priorities, my thinking. He was harsh, mean. You came late for work, he was there at the door waiting for you.
Right. You
didn't do your work, he would demand excellence. And after a year of working with Douglas, he called me and says, I never thought you would make it. I thought you would quit. And he shook my hand and said, congratulations. You are a great person now. And here's my recommendation for you to go for promotion to the other job. Wow. So I credit Douglas Rose. He changed my life. There have been many, many others, but Mr. Douglas Rose will forever be a hero in my life.
Amazing.
He pushed me to a new level. He demanded greatness from me. And I am who I am today, primarily because of people like Douglas Rose.
Beautiful, beautiful. You do so much, Mubita. I do know that definitely outside of business, you also just want to keep yourself sane. And you want to pretty much unwind. I'd like to find out from you, outside of work, what hobbies or interests fuel your creativity?
Movies. I love movies. I love movies. I know movies. I've seen movies. You name it. Right. I can James analyze James Bond, Passion of the Christ, Woman King, Aviator. You name it. Right. I love movies. Shaka Zulu. I love movies. Shawshank Redemption, Castaway, Born Identity, Born Supremacy. I love movies.
Nice.
And movies provide an escape route for me. But I also love animal, game drives, stuff like that. Nice. A bit of farming.
Nice.
And every now and then, if none of that works, jump on an 18-wheeler truck. Come back refreshed.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so Mubita, as we're winding up our conversation, what is that one piece of advice you'd love to leave to our listeners and our viewers?
Thank you. I'll leave you with a quote by William Shakespeare, who said, "This above all else, to thine own self be true." In the end, The sun will rise, the sun will set. It's about being authentic, being yourself. Smile when you want to smile, stand when you want to stand, jump when you want to jump. Be yourself.
Right.
Find the pulse of your heart, the wave of your mindset. Find your own body temperature, your own body mass index. Find the clothes that suit you, the style and fashion, the facade. Find the friends that bring out light and joy in you. Do things that don't make you regret. Be around people who, when they see you, they jump up and down and they're happy to see you. And when you see them, you're happy to see them. That's what life is all about. Minimize on stress. Don't force things, but don't miss things. What is moving, jump on it. What's not moving, push it. And what wants to move here when it's supposed to be there, take it higher. That's your mission. So at the end of the day, you can say to yourself, I ran a good race, I fought a good fight, and I'm proud of who I am.
Amazing, amazing. Rita, thank you so much for coming
to the
Talent Plug podcast. This conversation has been amazing.
It's beautiful.
We've touched on quite a number of things that, even people who didn't know you now know you very well. And I do believe that the nuggets that you've dropped are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for coming through.
This was beautiful. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
So this has been another exciting episode of the Talent Plug podcast. On this episode, we featured Mubita Nawa. He's spoken about quite a lot of things that you would definitely learn from and develop from. From this point on, we just hope that you're going to be a top subscriber of the Talent Plug podcast. Stay tuned.